And just like that, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the tardiness. Somebody, we won't mention any names, forgot her drink. So, rookie mistake. It's okay. We got this.
Wait, Amy, did you forget yours too? I've got mine right here. Everybody, it's Drink Along Thursday. So here we go.
So, Wendy, tell us what we're doing here.
Joe, first of all, I want to say a big thank you to the Indie Escape Network, Joe, to you for believing me, for David Madison, who had me on a bunch of times and, really kind of got the ball rolling. I mean, this was bound to happen. We just all clicked. And here we go with our new show, The Sticky Microphone. And I'm so excited about it. And we're going to have my two other co-hosts. Can you see each other? There we go. The Sticky Microphone, which begs the question, why is it sticky? I'm kidding. I don't really know why. Something to think about. But here's what I want to talk about. We're going to introduce my two co-hosts who are fantastic people, crazy talented, Joe, like you. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what the show's going to be about. And then we're just going to kind of interview each other. This is for the first show. We thought we'd kind of introduce ourselves to everybody. Anybody that wants to write in or text, is it chat in or text in? Whatever you call it.
Like this?
Oh, evening, friends. Hey, has the room been sanitized? Sorry to say no if you're talking about mine. Yeah, not sanitized yet. But anyways, before we get started, I wanted to again say a big thank you and everybody who's tuning in. I really appreciate it. I want lots of audience feedback. This show should be fun for everybody. All right, so first, I'm going to introduce my two co-hosts and we'll bring them on. We've got the beautiful.
You gotta wait. You gotta hit this comment first.
You look. Oh, David, go on. Stop. I'm horrible. I'm a beast, but yes. Thank you, David. Amy Cote, absolutely gorgeous, significantly younger than me, but we won't talk about that too much. She's a wonderful, beautiful actress in her years. Besides being an amazing mother and just absolutely gorgeous, she's done, quite a bit of. She did a bunch of One Tree Hill back in the day. She's in Wilmington. The Grind. I think the one Vaughn, she might expand on that a little bit. Black Monday are a few of the things that she's done, and she's sort of kind of put herself out there a little bit as an influencer. People have her on podcasts quite a bit, so I'm excited that she's going to be doing this with me. So that's Amy who will come on. If you want to bring on the lovely Amy, and we'll say our hellos.
I just wanted to see how awkward it could get for a second.
No,
okay. But anyway, David was talking to me, by the way.
Joe, I was talking to Joe. I'm sorry.
Anyway, without further ado, Amy, badass.
Amy. Hey, Amers.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Amy, badass Cote. We've been waiting to get a format for people to have to listen to us, right, Amy?
It's almost scary because I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth.
I sort of do. And, we by the way, Amy's code name, if you ever hear us call each other this, I call her Cinnamon Toast. And Amy, what do you call me?
Grape jelly.
Grape jelly. So, Joe, we're going to have to think of a good nickname for you. So before we even go on about the lovely Amy, I want to also kind of give a quick introduction to the absolutely amazing. He's been around. I don't mean to make him sound old because he's younger than me, but he's been around for a long time in this business. When we were just watching movies on TV, he was already doing independent film in the Akron, Cleveland, Ohio area, where he's a known guy in this industry since I think the late 80s actually is when he started. James L. Edwards. He started with, I believe one of his first movies was, Ozone, I think was one of it. He actually was hired, and we could talk about it a little bit. He was hired to do special effects, but he went on to be an actor. Bloodletting was a very popular film that he did. And then he went on to be a director, screenwriter, and actor in such films as Her Name Was Christa, which has done really well. Amy, we love that movie, right?
It's sick, but so freaky and good.
Oh, it's amazing. I would love for everybody to know about this movie. Also, Brimstone Incorporated, which is a fantastic trilogy anthology. And then right now he's finishing up the amazing movie Trivial, which I had a little part in as well. So anyways, without further ado, James L. Edwards.
Hello there. Hey.
Thanks.
Joe, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Lovely. Couldn't be better.
Well,
Oh,
don't
James,
know.
you're looking all nice and spiffy today, and here I am wearing my Motley Crue shirt. Good for
Yeah.
me.
Hey, wait a minute. Does it have Mick Mars on it or the new guy?
Is there a new guy? Who's the new guy?
Yeah, it has Mick. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
They replaced him on tour.
I didn't know that actually.
Oh.
That was actually one of my favorite things on Netflix was The Dirt. I loved that movie. It was fantastic. Well, one of the things that we wanted to talk about first, and I think maybe James, I'm going to hand it to you for just a minute to kind of give an idea before we kind of interview each other. I'd like for you to kind of flesh out we've all been talking about what we wanted the show to be and what we think it should be.
I think the main thing that all three of us were really looking for with this was to not only, self-promotion is always a plus in my book. I'm a huge fan of self-promotion for all of us.
Yes.
Because that, I'd like, as the show grows, to start bringing in other indie filmmakers, actors, special effects artists, voiceover artists, and just basically use this as a promotional tool for them as well. And I mean, if all else fails, we'll just turn this into a bunch of dick and fart jokes. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So,
I can do that, James. We can do that.
He knows a lot of them. And Amy, you and I do too. Amy, what's
Personally,
your kind of vision of the show too? Because we've talked.
No, you don't want to know. No, my vision is kind of like what James's is, but a little more dirty, a little more fun. Y'all should have brought me onto this show. I'm just saying.
Dirty. I'm fine with that. That's fun.
Well, I want everybody
I'm like dirty, flirty, 30, and thriving. Okay.
Thriving, flirty, and I want everyone to know that.
Look at Joe. Joe's like.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my face to be the same color as the lights in the background. So
he's easily embarrassed. He's happily married, but I want everyone to know that if we hit a certain number of people, the next show, Amy will be wearing a bikini.
So will I.
So will Joe.
You probably look way better in it than I am. I can promise you that.
And if not enough people watch, then I'll put on the bikini just to punish you.
You don't understand.
We all will. We'll all wear one.
It gives me an excuse to get a Brazilian. So.
Ooh.
Hey, I've never had one before.
Just waiting to get on. So
wait, let's see. Gabe says Amy loves my dirty jokes on Instagram. One of my top stalkers. Ooh, Amy. Amy's got stalkers. Amy, I didn't know you were a stalker.
No, I'm not. Or he's one of my top stalkers. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Amy's got the stalkers. Well, I think that we should start out kind of Joe, I know, people know who you are. Joe, although I'm sad you got your hair cut recently. Oh, how many for James to wear one? Oh, James, do you have your banana hammock ready?
I'll do it right now. It's fine. I got no problem with it. I'll do it. For this show, I'm willing to go helicopter.
I see him in more of the Borat Mankini kind of thing.
I'll do it. Yeah, count me in.
In every movie that he's done, he likes to show his ass. It's really important that the camera.
My ass. Is that such a bad deal?
As long as you have the ass to do
it. We want to see. People want to see it. It's just the way it is.
I like it. We would get pictures of his, like if he fell asleep and he forgot, and there was a picture of his butt sticking out. My daughter and her friends thought it was so funny and I guess upsetting. They posted it to their friends.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about that. I'm thrilled that I'm going to end up on a watch list because of your daughter. Thanks. I appreciate it.
They've memed you. Your ass has been memed. Just be warned.
Oh, shoot.
So, Wendy, do you know Jeff here?
Hey, Jeff, it's my buddy. So, Jeff
said every time I talk to Wendy, she brings up Uranus.
And Jeff,
what is that about?
Uranus. It's Uranus that I'm talking about. I do these podcasts with Jeff, who does like certification for North Carolina. It's just we end up having a really good time. And actually, the drinking, and I think he sometimes does a Hawaiian shirt. He allows that in his class, and it's online. It's a bunch of fun, and we end up kind of making a podcast style. But thanks, Jeff. Thanks for being here. I wanted to kind of talk about each other and kind of so people can get to know this amazing talent on this screen right now. And I'm not talking about myself. I mean, I'm pretty great, but I'm not saying anything. So I'm going to have, you're good. James, how about if you start and you ask Amy her questions?
I'm going to ask Amy a bevy of questions, and Wendy, you have some.
I hope there's some fun ones on there.
Oh yeah.
We'll get into the fun stuff. I'm sure if they're not fun, I'm sure fun. How's that?
We make it fun.
It might not be fun. Okay.
So I guess the number one question is, what made you decide to get into acting? At what age do you figure you really had this passion for acting?
Well, I was about 5 years old. Well, maybe 5, 6. I think my first scary movie I watched was Child's Play. And I seen it and I was like, oh, he's cute. Oh, little doll. Like, I want to be. And then I seen Halloween, the very first Halloween. And I knew when I seen Jamie Lee Curtis, I was like, I want to be her. I want to be the next Scream Queen. I want to be chased by a killer. I mean, in real life as well. It is what it is. That's who I am. James and Wayne know that.
Oh, yeah.
And I just knew. I felt it. And then as I grew older, I started watching like all the Halloweens, the Scream movies, and all these things. And it was always horror. It's like I love all genres, but horror just, y'all know, it just does something to me. You know what I mean? And so that's where I knew I wanted to be in film for sure.
And let's see, Gabe said Donald Pleasance is one of his favorite actors. He passed, I didn't know he's passed away 28 years ago today.
Oh, yeah. Now that
I loved Dr. Loomis. He was amazing.
Amy, that being said, what would you say your favorite horror film is?
Halloween, 1978.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I know. It's hard for me to choose between all of the serial killers because I love all of them. I have a special bond with all of them, but it's definitely Michael Myers.
That's your guy.
He's also hot. Yeah, he's hot.
I'm gonna ask about it in my questions, but I want everybody. We'll talk about both of your collections. But Amy has a life-size Mike Myers. I call him Mike Myers. That was one of my things I mess up. It's Michael Myers, but I always call him Mike Myers. And he stands above her son's bed because and when I come to visit, Jackson will go in the other room and I'll sleep in his bed. And Michael Myers watches over me, and it's scary as F. I mean, so.
Well, see, because the mask that it wears was done by the makeup artist that did the James Hugh Courtney's mask in all of the Halloween movies, so it makes it more special. It's
pretty spectacular. So.
Nope. David Madison says, I used to hang out and drink with Donald at the Blarneystone in New York on 34th in New York City. Very cool.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is cool. And I was there. I wonder when you were there, Dave, because I lived there. I lived right near there on 50th Street. So at one point we might have run into each other, but yeah. Okay. So what's the next question for Amy? Cause we've got some good
Amy,
ones.
as far now that you've been actually working in film, what would you say your best experience on a film set has been? And it's a two-part question. Without giving names, what's been the worst experience?
Ooh.
This is so hard to have to ask me that. God damn you.
Yeah.
The last film I did was The Grind, which should be actually coming out very soon. And I have to say, as hard as that was to do, because there was a lot of conflict between people and the weather, and it was freezing and it was like icy rain. We had to be outside most of the time. It was probably my favorite just because it was a horror film and it was Leatherface, and he's one of my guys. And everybody in the film they're all good actors. And it was just I just felt like that's where I needed to be. And it was just, I don't know, it just felt right. It felt bad. It's like weird. It's like, it was also like really annoying at the same time, but it was like the best time. And I love everybody that was on there. And it was just, that was the best thing that I have filmed so far.
Well, you had Angel, who you're friends with, and Cody, who you're buddies with. So I remember you had a great time.
Angel Bradford, she's like one of the best people that I know that does like indie films and stuff. She's amazing. And Cody Huskins is like, he's big enough to play Jason or Leatherface because he's like 6'6". You know what I mean? So
huge. But
yeah, that was a really good film to do. And I think the worst was when I did a while back, I did a film called Black Mountain, and it was like 6 hours away from here. No one knew what the hell they were doing. There was no shot list. There was nothing. And nobody did their jobs. They just kind of wanted to hang out. And I was there I traveled 6 hours away. I wanted to do what I had to do, you know? and get out of there. And I ended up getting the flu when I was there. I had my kids with me. They all got the flu. It was just a horrible time.
Oh no.
I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to go home. That was probably the worst.
There's nothing worse than being on a film set and it being such a miserable experience. You question whether you want to continue doing this for a living. and I mean, that sounds.
I did. And you know, one of the stars from The Walking Dead was on there, and I got to act with him, and it was really, really fun. But at the same time, I was just like, oh my God, I'm sick. My kids are sick. Y'all don't know what the hell you're doing. We don't know where we're going with this. Like, it ended up really not going. I think it was more just like, let's try this out kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I got to do it because it was experience, but it just was a horrible time.
Right. Oh, yeah. Now, what would you say your dream project is? If they basically something that you would absolutely kill to do.
Porn.
Something you haven't done before.
Yeah, something you haven't done, Amy. Come on.
How do y'all know? I'm just kidding. I told you don't bring me on the show, Wen. Okay, I told you.
Listen, that's in the Sticky Microphone After Hours show where we talk about all of our crazy experiences.
Okay.
Look at Joe over there.
Is there a link?
Are you drinking?
Well, Joe,
he's gone. He's gone.
Go. So it'll be okay.
He's out of here. I think my dream. You mean? If I had a dream,
you have a dream.
My dream project would be to do. I don't know. That's a good question.
I think like
I don't know if I really thought of that.
Halloween movie and
either that or Freddy Krueger with Robert.
Gabe said he just watched his first porn and he looked so much younger back then. Gabe, I know you don't do porn, but if you do, we're gonna post it on the show. So. I think
we'll definitely post that.
I think it's time that I'm going to put James. I'm going to grill James a little bit and so I explained who James was and his amazing accolades. Blah blah blah. He's been around the block, been there, done that.
Old. Yeah.
He's old. He's what is it? OAF.
Yeah.
But I'm older, so it's not really that funny. And I like this story. I know some of these things that I'm going to ask, but I think it's an interesting story. How did you get your first experience in the industry? You were like 12.
I was 12 years old. It was 1985, just to give you an idea how ancient I am. But there was a film being made locally by director J.R. Bookwalter, and it was being financed by Sam Raimi, who had done the Evil Dead series, Spider-Man. At the time, I had no interest in acting. I wanted to be a special effects makeup artist. I was a Savini kid. I was collecting Fangoria. I was convinced I wanted to be an effects artist. The problem was I had no artistic talent whatsoever. Nothing. But I was a really good liar. So I had an interview with them, and they're asking me all these questions. Have you ever worked with foam latex? I'm like, oh, sure. Yeah, I had no clue what the hell foam latex was, but I'm sure I've worked with it. Well, it didn't take them long to figure out that I was shit. So, but they liked my spirit, so they kept me on as a production assistant, and I ended up working as an actor and screenwriter with them for like a good 15 years. So that's how I got started.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know that you continue to this day. You're working. I don't know if I can say it, but you're working on something with someone. Am I allowed to?
It's coming. I can't say yet, but it's coming.
All right. Okay. So I said you sort of led into this question, but you've done almost every possible job on this. I guess probably a lot of people in indie do. I mean, you end up wearing all the hats, special effects to director to actor, producer. And I was just wondering, screenwriter, what do you think is your favorite? Like, if you had to just pick one and that's what you did for the rest of your days, what would it be? James?
Probably be acting. I mean, to be quite honest with you, directing sucks. I do it because I'm even then I consider myself a fraud in the sense that the only reason I direct is because I don't play well with others. I don't want to sell my screenplays because they always, I mean, with good reason, they always turn out differently than I envision them. And as an actor, I want to play roles. I'm always appreciative of any role that I get, but
David is asking, was it Crime Wave? I'm wondering if he's asking if that was the movie that you're talking about.
No. The movie that I had worked on was The Dead Next Door. For some reason, Tubi has me listed as being in Crime Wave. I love Crime Wave, but I was never in it. I'll lie and say that I was. That's fine. I'll take the credit. But no. I mean, as a director, like I said, I kind of feel like a fraud in the sense that I'm only doing this as a means to an end. It's not a fun job at all. Now, screenwriting and acting, I absolutely love. I can't get enough of that. But if I had to pinpoint one particular thing that I enjoy doing, it's probably acting.
I think that's interesting because I think though I mean, I could be wrong. I think just knowing you that it's the logistics of the directing. But tell me if I'm right. When you're actually working with people have the nuts and bolts of it, of being on set, having them give a good performance, do you enjoy that part?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so that part, not the logistics, not the the things that are like line producer.
I love the pre-production process. I love the production process, but post-production for me, Zombie Cop and Ozone were great. Ooh, and Bloodletting. Thank you, Tim Melican. I appreciate that. Tim's a buddy of mine. Great guy. Love him. For me personally, it's the post-production process that kills me. I'd literally rather skin my own dick than have to deal with any of the post-production process.
And I've seen you do that. I've seen you do that. It's not pretty. Not pretty. Okay, so this is a good question, and I think I know the answer to this. Amy, I'm going to have the same question for you, although I know the answer. I think you already said it. What is your favorite, and I know I don't agree with it, but your favorite horror movie franchise? And I know this.
I love Romero's Dead trilogy. Yeah, that's what I grew up with. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead. I don't consider his other movies part of the... I know he made 3 other Dead films, but let's call a spade a spade. They sucked. I love Romero. He's my favorite director, but those movies are unwatchable. Night, Dawn, and Day are just absolutely... In fact, Dawn is probably my favorite film of all time. So yeah, that would be my favorite... my favorite franchise, I guess.
Well, I have.
Wait a second. I got a question, if I may, about that. Yeah. So what's your opinion of Savini's remake?
I love Savini's remake. I was really, really shocked how well that turned out. It's one of those where, honestly, surprisingly enough, if I had any complaint about the remake at all, it's Romero. Romero's dialogue is a little stiff in it. But aside from that, I think it's an absolutely amazing. It's probably one of the better remakes out there.
Interesting. Well, so I have a question actually for all of you that I'm going to ask before I finish your last question. What do you all think that the fans, or the franchise that the fans are the most cuckoo over? I think that it's the Friday the 13th franchise, but James, Amy, and Joe, I'd love to hear your opinions. And also,
I think it's Halloween.
Halloween, okay.
See, I'll be honest with you. I think it's neck and neck between Friday the 13th and Halloween, because if you had asked me maybe 5 years ago, I would have said Friday the 13th. But considering the new trilogy that just came out of Halloween has divided fans so much, I mean, they're absolutely feverish about it. So, but yeah. I mean, I would say both of those.
Joe, what do you think?
In my opinion, I think that the Halloween's that the one that Halloween Ends and Halloween Kills were not the best. I mean, I love Michael Myers and I love Jamie and I love everybody that was involved in it, but to me, I don't know. I feel like I could have wrote a better script in my sleep. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It kind of, and I love it. And Wendy, that's so weird for me to say, because I love Halloween and the franchise and stuff. But like, I don't know. Because it's Michael Myers, I loved it. It bored me, especially Halloween Ends. I was just like, I didn't expect it to go where it went, but it went there, and I was just like, I don't know about it. I still don't know about it. I'm just. I think Terrifier 2 was the better. What I mean?
Yeah.
It was like,
I'm a Terrifier fan. I mean, and he's been on
yes.
the show. He's great. I mean, Joe, I'm curious what your opinion is, and if David and Tim and Gabe want to write in what they think. The fans are the most crazy over what franchise?
For horror, I would have to say Friday the 13th, just because Kane Hodder loves to bust my balls constantly. And I just built Kane. A relationship with him. And after Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I couldn't get back into the franchise. I mean, this fucking white horse.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I have to agree with you, Joe. I have to really agree with you there. I really do.
and I know Amy's gonna not be thrilled with this statement, but I'm the wrong person to talk to as far as Halloween goes, only because the fact, for me personally,
Yeah.
the first three original films are the only watchable ones in the group, in my opinion. I didn't like the new revamp, and which is surprising because I love Danny McBride and who's the other Cody, the director and writer of the new Halloween series. What's his name?
You got me on that one.
Yeah, no, whoever he is. I think they're both amazing comic writers. I just don't think they understood what made the franchise work. I think Rob Zombie, both of his movies were horrible, but realistically, were they any worse than Halloween 4 through 6? Probably not.
I loved Halloween 4, and I loved Rob Zombies, and I love Rob Zombies because I love the dark aspect of it. I like the Satanist, or like the more dark realm versus just let me kill, which I love anyway. But I love Rob Zombie, and I love his spin on everything he does. And so I loved him. I just thought it was dark and sinister, and I love that aspect of it.
Well, right.
For me, I think Rob Zombie missed what made Michael Myers an interesting character. He's the boogeyman. You're not supposed to give him the backstory. We don't want a backstory. We don't need a backstory. And again,
no, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Well, you see, I disagree. I thought the first one was great. I love the backstory. I love the masks and everything hanging up. And
my problem with Rob Zombie is the fact that he only knows how to write two different types of characters: white trash heroes and white trash villains. That's all he's really good at,
Right, what you know.
That is, I mean, House of a Thousand Corpses, all of his films were really just, I agree with James there. They were kind of just like off the wall and kind of white trashy, but in such a good way for me. I love it.
If you guys don't mind, I'm going to hit some of these comments real fast because you guys are blowing up. So Kane busts everyone's balls, yes, but unfortunately, Gabe, you get him on camera when he's busting my balls. Thank you. Gabe said that I consider Saw a more psychological thriller. Gabe's a huge Saw fan. Mm-hmm. Ken is saying Halloween first and second.
Ooh,
the Omen series.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm a fan of that too.
I can see that. And then general fans, Friday the 13th. Personally, Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 6. I mean, anything that Mick Strawn and Nick Benson works on together, put me in, man. I agree. So, and David said the original Frankenstein films are the best horror franchise film.
I've got to see
Good one, David.
David, I've never seen that. I was going to mention real fast, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I loved, but then
I didn't like the last one. The last one I just couldn't go with. Well, I just could not hear. I can't do it.
You guys made fun of me because I liked it. I forgot which one it was, but about she was the Sawyer. It was that pretty actress with
Jessica Biel.
No, I liked that one. That was
the eyes,
Dardria or whatever. But I liked it. I thought it was
the crystal blue eyes.
Oh, and Alexandria.
Yes,
Alexandria.
Yes.
I liked it. I loved it. Like, everyone did good. I just something stopped me. There's some of the actors I couldn't deal with.
For me,
that the one that you and James disagreed on the back? You were getting very upset about the.
For me, the problem that I have is I truly believe Leatherface is probably my favorite franchisable horror character. I love the character backstory. Unfortunately, for me personally, the original part 1 and part 2. I think are classics. I love them with all of my heart. Every single other sequel is total garbage, total dog shit.
So you didn't like the one with Matthew McConaughey?
Hated it.
I don't think I liked that one either. All right, James, I'm going to finish up James's questions. Okay, hold on. We're almost done with you. Okay.
And by the way, what she said.
We're going to do some self-promotion here where I'm going to have you both of you talk about your collections. But the last question that I want to ask you is, what film that you worked on, and I bet I know the answer to this, do you think is your best work and why? And I think I know.
Oh, I'm a complete egomaniac. I'm going to say her name was Christa, my director. I mean, think about it. I wrote it, I directed it, I star in it. It's like, yeah, of course. It's one of those things where if it sucks, then I suck. Let's put it that way. So no, I'm completely happy with the way that turned out.
It was a great film, everyone.
Oh my God. It was so it makes you feel really weird. in the such a good way, but such a bad way. It's just like,
I like
but
that.
so good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi. We're gonna put that out there, and you can also order the is it, do I say Blu-rays or DVDs? Is that what
it's available both. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, who's gonna put me on to my feet to the fire? And I want some good questions. I'm ready.
Amy, you want to start, or do you want me to?
I can start if you don't mind.
You go right ahead.
All right.
Wendy, I'm sorry, grape jelly.
Yes, cinnamon toast.
I have my notes, so I'm going to read off of because I like to I'm visual. That's what I do when I do a lot of things. When did you know you wanted to be a voiceover actor?
Well, I tell everybody to watch Christa. Love. Thank you, Tim Milliken. Right. So my career, I kind of come from a little bit of a different background, and that's why it's important. I was going to let people know this because we'll have some voiceover people on the show because I think it's very interesting. I started in radio. I was in theater, and then I kind of, as a fluke, got into radio in the early 90s. And I was a DJ. I did every day part. And then I was production manager for these big stations here in Raleigh, where I am. And I loved it. I actually loved writing, producing, and voicing commercials. And I did it all day for I loved it. A friend of mine, my mentor, his name is Roll Gorman, who was a puppeteer for the Muppets, among other things. He was a voiceover. At the time, it was very hard to be connected. You had to have something called ISDN, and it let you connect to other studios in real time. It allowed you to work just out of the market, too. You could not just local stuff, but you could go in your studio and, talk to the producer in LA and the people in Florida, whatever. So he did a demo for me. I hit the ground running, got into it, loved it. The money's great. It's easy. It's different than film. And I say this because you do, for instance, I do mostly commercial work. You go in, you say, okay, you're doing United Airlines. It's going to be a national TV buy, cable buy for, 2 cycles. And then that's it. And you're getting X amount of dollars. And, 60 days later, you're paid by the agency. So I do love voiceover, even the boring parts. Yeah. You
have the best voice for it. Honestly, you have that voice for anything. It just, I'm sure everyone's heard your commercials and everything that you have done. I know when I first met you, you were like, oh, that was me. We were talking about commercials. Do you remember? And I was like, oh my God, that was your voice. And so I'm sure everyone has heard your voice because your voice is just lovely.
Well, thank you. And I promise everyone, I will not, during this whole show, and going forward, I will not break out into song, which I like to do. I
don't do musicals. We don't do that.
Yeah. Amy and I have done it.
I will
James,
quit.
You don't like it. Amy and I, we've done it.
Did you see Amy? She tried.
I tried.
tried. We're not doing this. We're not Grease. Okay.
A day that's gone by where Amy and I haven't, or I'm sorry, I don't think there's a day that's gone by that Wendy and I haven't spoke. And every single conversation, she has to try and sneak some song in, and I just got to stop.
I don't know what you think what you are, High School Musical, but you're not a song, so we're just gonna calm down a little bit.
Song. Yeah, no.
Okay, no.
Okay, wait a minute. I got to bring something up though, because Wendy's done the prescription things, and I've never been so excited about rectal bleeding, nausea, or
vaginal discharge.
You actually want that stuff, hearing her voice,
Right?
You want to get those side effects. I will say honestly, because I do a lot of that, the medical stuff and disclaimers and things like that. And to me, they're fun. A lot of people, I teach voiceover, and a lot of people are like, I want to get into animation and I want to do video games. That's great. I've done a few of those things here and there, but doing the broadcast stuff to me in narration, that's where it's at. So Wendy taught me how to use my elbow from my little video. That's a funny video I have. So thanks, Jeff. Right. That's why use your elbows as a tuning fork. What other question must you ask me? And yes, this is my real hair color. And yes, they're real.
Mine are going to not be real in a month. Okay. So who is your favorite on-screen serial killer?
Oh, I actually, that is so funny that you said that, because this is going to be a good segue to our next week's guest. I probably would have said Leatherface before. I'm very disturbed, but yet I can't get enough of the centipede, the human centipede. It was very disturbing to me. The second one,
I've never seen that.
Oh my God. Okay. So the second one, if anybody is familiar with it, which I'm sure they are, is pretty intense and really gory. Right. And I will say, and he's going to be our guest next week, is Lawrence Harvey, who played goodness, what's the name of the character? I mean, he's just so creepy. And the thing I liked about him is he's doesn't talk. I'm assuming he's, special needs. Something's very wrong with him. And people are so mean to him. And he's obsessed with the Centipede, the movie, Human Centipede. And I end up really liking him because you're like, he's mutilating people, but you're like, I feel so bad with him. I'd like to take him to lunch. Poor guy. But it's very interesting to have that kind of sympathy for a serial killer.
To have a sympathy for that type of person. I have sympathy for like Leatherface and Jason and things like that. I don't think I could have sympathy for someone who likes to sew people's faces to other people's asses.
Don't knock until you try it. I
have tried it. It's not my thing.
When you see the third one, because he plays a completely different role.
Yeah, I haven't watched the third. I'm gonna watch it for next week because I've been wanting to see that. But he's really, really nice guy. I did a movie called The Witches of the Sands, and Tony Martin, who is a British director, actor, is absolutely fantastic. He and Lawrence are supposed to be on next week, and they're in the UK, so it's nice that they're getting up early to do this. He was also in The Witches of the Sands, so that's why he's going to be on. So yes, he's one of my favorites. So
very cool. Okay, next question.
Yeah, let's see.
If you had to pick a famous actor or actress or both to star in a film with, who would it be, and what type of film would it be?
I'm gonna say it starts as a rom-com and then it ends as a horror movie. And I'm going to say the things that I should say. I want to be with my buddies and I want to be with my buds. I would like to start with James L. Edwards, Amy Badass Cote, David Madison is great. I mean, we've got some great people out there, but I will tell you, Amy, and I know that you agree with me on this. One of my favorite actors these days is Evan Peters. I think he is fan-freaking-tastic.
What, as like Dahmer though? He's got to look like Dahmer.
Oh my God.
Please.
Dare
right
I
here.
say this? I'm gonna give a piece of trivia. James, say how you're connected to Dahmer.
Oh, you want that story?
Wait, I don't know this story. I need this story.
I thought I told you.
Years ago, I was asked around the time of the Dahmer trial. I was asked to do a Jeffrey Dahmer biopic where I was going to play Stephen Hicks, Dahmer's first victim, and I turned the role down because the Stephen Hicks murder literally happened like 15 minutes away from my house. And my line of thinking is, I'm sure there's family still there. I don't want to piss anybody off. I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to turn it down. Years later, I'm a projectionist for Regal Cinemas, and I'm talking to this concessionist who, oddly enough, would later end up becoming my wife, my second wife. And we're talking about me being an actor, and she's like, so have you done anything that I might have seen? And I'm like, probably not. I always turn down the stuff that would have ended up getting me famous. And she's like, well, like what? And I brought up the Dahmer film, and she turned white as a ghost. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, Stephen Hicks, Jeffrey Dahmer's first victim, was my uncle. I was married to Jeffrey Dahmer's first victim's niece, and I almost played him in a biopic. So.
Yeah, and it was fascinating to see that the series and how they portray. I thought, I'm not whether it's right or wrong. I feel like it was very important to the family. He wasn't gay, and they didn't.
Well, I also feel like it emphasized on, dare I say, his mental health as well, because if he were to be listened to by certain people, I feel like maybe he could have gotten some help. Or I'm not saying that I agree with what he did. I absolutely, it was freaking tragic, but at the same time, he was asking for help. He needed someone. And, I don't know. I just think that this with Evan Peters in this series, it just really just showed what really happened in his mind. And I think they did an amazing job. And Evan Peters, American Horror Story.
He has a serious crush on Evan Peters.
Oh my God. I just like the dark. I just like that he has like dark in his eyes. And you know me, I absolutely love that. I'm like, Evan Peters, Christ.
American Horror Story. Love it.
Haley's like obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Wendy, I'm a little surprised. I thought your go-to as far as who you wanted to act with was Hugh Jackman.
I do.
That's your hall pass.
He's my hall pass. He's my laminated card of who I can have sex with. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can do better than Hugh.
Really? I don't know. He's pretty hot.
Yeah, James.
I love Hugh. Well, James is the low-hanging fruit is bad, right?
That's yeah. Let's not call me low-hanging fruit, for the love of God.
I'm sorry, Joe. You came on as I said low-hanging fruit. I hope you're not saying anything.
Oh, and
She's just
Amy,
sitting there just taking all of us in.
right. Amy, you're going to hate this part. As far as the person that I would want to act with and my whole pass, it's going to be Danielle Harris.
No.
Yuck.
I can
No.
I could see a very caring, passionate love scene between me and Danielle Harris.
No.
I think it'd be done.
Look, she might be a nice person sometimes, but Amy and I, she didn't know us. She was not.
This is like the third time I seen her at a con, and she looked at me like I just killed her brother. I'm like,
feel better.
Rude.
Curtis did the same thing to her. So
no, that was what, part 4?
yeah, I'm like, can I help you, girl? Can I help you? No.
And I apologize if any of you guys have had good experiences with her as being a nice person. This is just,
Wait, she started out in 4 or 5?
She started out in 4 and then also
4.
did Rob's on. Well,
And that because Tamara Glenn.
I don't think.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Joe.
Tamara Glenn is actually a friend of the show, so I was just like, okay.
I think she's a good actress. I think she is, especially when she did 4 or 5 in Halloween. I think she was, especially as being young as she was brilliant. Brilliant. I just don't like her face and I don't like her personality.
It might have been a bad day. She wasn't nice to. She just was kind of rude.
Three times that I've seen her bad 3 days.
You're killing a lot of fanboys out there.
Sorry, guys.
I'm not
hey, listen.
Personality. Let's put it that way. I'm not worried about
James not only thinks she's hot, but he also lately, and he's been posting about it, is obsessed with Debbie Gibson and Tiffany.
Yeah, I'm going through my 80s phase.
No, wait a minute, James. Like 20 years ago, they were both in like Playboy, weren't they?
Well, I've got the issues behind me. Are you kidding me?
They're hanging up in his house.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
You don't know who Debbie Gibson or Tiffany? I mean, they were the pop queens back then. They were competing, and they were both banging New Kids on the Block and stuff.
Oh, they were? I didn't know they did.
Oh yeah,
Tiffany was
80s version of like what is
Britney
it?
Spears,
Lady Gaga and Britney Spears.
Yeah, Amy. I mean, Amy was born in like 87, 85.
Yeah,
85. I love you though for saying 87.
When Debbie Gibson and Tiffany were popular, you were a zygote. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that's why.
When malls were still popular.
Yeah.
Oh,
before online shopping.
Mm-hmm. Is that balls?
No,
malls. MALL.
Wait, you put your drink down. No more drinking.
Balls are always popular.
Balls are always popular. Balls are.
No more drinking for you, Wendy. None.
I'm not going to say it because this is a clean show, but I'm just going to say there's a percentage. We've figured it out. 18.5%. Balls.
You don't just mess with the prong. It's a 3-piece set. So
you got to work with the balls. All right. So, is that okay, Joe?
I'm just all over the place with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with you saying it. I don't necessarily agree.
Oh.
You know what? Okay, now I'm gonna have to say it now, Joe. You don't like your balls messed with?
Not particularly.
Oh, you're
interesting.
Hey, James, I may make an exception for you.
Oh, well, there. I appreciate that.
Really nice. That was really nice. No, interesting. Yeah, no, it's.
Do not get me started on this subject, okay?
Me personally, I need some nuzzling. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking for. But Amy and Wendy, I will say this: if I'm not allowed Danielle Harris, we'll go with Shawnee Smith from the Blob remake.
That's right. He likes her for some reason.
Oh, I just saw her recently in Orlando.
She was really? Was she nice?
She's a doll.
Yeah,
a very talented.
She's awesome.
It's funny because there was a movie that my sister and I loved in the 80s, and I'm friends with one of the guys that was in this movie on Facebook. Remember the movie Summer School? Does anybody remember?
Yeah. Mark Harmon.
Yeah. Oh, and Dean, I forgot the name. He was Chainsaw, and I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he still goes around and does it. But she was in that film as well, which it was just super. It was just a fun movie. Loved it. Amy, you should check it out.
And then she started hanging out with Charlie Sheen in that other show. And
what was that show? Anger Management. Yeah.
The psychiatrist.
Winning. Was that Charlie Sheen?
That was Charlie Sheen. Yes.
He was winning. Interesting. Okay, so we've learned a lot about each other and about Joe's ball ratio and what is good and what's not. So that's good to know. But all right. So my last question before I wrap it up, I know we have we don't have to stick to a clock, but I don't know if people are getting sick of us. We want to end on a good note. But I'm going to give one more question to James.
Okay.
All right. Well, I actually had a question. You both were gonna get it, but I already said it. What horror icon do I get the name wrong all the time?
No, you already admitted it. It's
Mike Myers,
which aggravates the.
You say Mike Myers. It's Michael.
Yeah. Okay. Let me.
She always does that.
Michael Myers, vicious serial killer boogeyman. Mike
Myers, cat in a fucking hat.
The guy that used to be funny and no longer is.
He's hysterical. Cut that out. Cut that out. He's very funny.
Oh,
very
come
funny.
on. When was the last
Where
time?
is he?
Who was president?
Oh, that's what I said. I said, where is he? Like,
Mark Harmon played a great. Oh, yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes,
he was Ted Bundy. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. There was actually another great movie too. It just made me think of it. Was it Ted Bundy? That was it Zac Efron?
Yeah.
Oh, so I thought that was fantastic. That was so well done. And if I'm right, in your town in Wilmington, don't they have like a serial killer museum or something?
So yes, actually I was just there with my kids like 2 weeks ago, the Bizarre Museum, and they have a whole bunch of new things, and now they just got, because of the Dahmer series, they got like where it's like this thing you lift up, it's like 18 plus or whatever, because like you actually see pictures of like his victims and stuff, and it's really bizarre, literally. And there's everything with like letters that like Richard Ramirez have written, and just Bundy and John Wayne Gacy and everything. I mean, letters to like fans, because I mean they have fans. Let's call it what it is.
James,
they have fans.
You have a letter from somebody.
I have what was it? And this is probably not going to make me popular, but I have a couple of pieces of murderabilia. I have a 2-page handwritten letter from Henry Lee Lucas, and I have a single page plus drawing plus joke book from Richard Ramirez. So,
Well, Amy, did you know that he had that?
Yeah.
No.
One of the things, and as time goes by, maybe we'll get to have like James and Amy both have incredible collections. James collects. He also, some of it he sells to collectors. Amy just has. You guys both absolutely have amazing collections that I just always think are worth saying. Like, for instance, James, behind you, I don't know, could we see Belial? You had somebody that did Belial and Audrey too.
It's still dressed up like you, though. Hang on.
Oh, it's got my hairpiece on it. There's Belial, and he's got my
Oh my God, yeah.
Can you see that? I don't.
Yeah. Who did that for you?
Yep.
That was an effects artist in Akron named Bill Morrison. Very, very talented guy, and you can pay him in crack, which is nice.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Do we?
Nice. I have a lot of spare crack laying around.
What? You know what? I actually have a question. What does crack look like? Is crack the same as crack rock? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Don't buy it. You don't want it.
Is meth is different than crack rock?
Yeah.
Joe, can you weigh in on this? I'm just curious. I just want. You're in Florida. People know there.
I'm in Florida. It was coke and weed. I'm sorry. We didn't crack thing. We're classier than that. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
I mean, unless you wanted like to go on a diet and lose weight immediately, then you may know somebody with a little crackety crack or meth. Who knows?
Oh yeah, meth, it ages you, and also it's interesting.
You get to lose your teeth and everything. It works out great.
Yeah, it's like,
Nice.
very interesting. Look at this whole show. We don't talk about recreational drugs.
No,
we don't. Not fun. But
just say no, kids.
What?
Just say no.
Just say no, kids. Nancy Reagan said it, and it was very. After school specials had it. They knew what they were doing in the 80s. They made it. Just saying no. So you guys, here we are. It's been an hour and it's flown by. I want to, I'm not going to usually run the show, but because I kind of brought everybody on and Joe and I kind of did, does everybody have some closing cool statements or promo stuff that they want to talk about that they're doing, Joe, including you? Because I know your wife has a really cool business of like these really beautiful wax melts and other things and oils. So everybody time to say that and self-promote. And Amy, go. You're first.
So you go. You're the host if you want to go.
I'll be last.
She has to go last.
Yeah.
I got the last. You're the last.
What do you got going on, Amy?
Okay, James. You can go, James. I don't want to go first. You go.
No pressure.
My third third directorial effort, Trivial, is currently sitting in post-production hell, but it is we are still planning on having it out hopefully by summer. It's a revenge horror thriller that stars Sasha Graham. And aside from that, I have another project that I'm producing, writing, and acting in called Side Effects May Vary, that is going to be basically like a black comedic horror take on the pandemic.
Wow, nice.
Very cool. And David Madison said, "Great show, bravo."
Aw, David, thank you, David. You know, as
Thank you,
everybody
David.
knows, David had me on and believed in me and had me on a few times, and I just had so much fun with you guys.
Oh,
But okay, so thank you, David. So Amy, are you ready to go? Do you have something to promote?
You
I
and
don't
Jody?
really much. Honestly, I haven't been doing too much because I've had a lot of like things going on and family issues. But
Children.
yeah, well, life. But it's just Wendy, you know about everything, and it's been really hard for me a lot lately. But I just wanted to say thank you for having me, Wendy. Thank you for believing in me, for being on the show with you. And I'm so in love with you. I'm obsessed with you, James. I'm obsessed with you, Joe. I'm already obsessed with you. So get over it.
Hey.
And I'm so excited to continue to do this and to just see where it goes, And me and Wendy have been wanting to do something like this for a long time. And so now here we are. We finally get a chance to do it, and I know it's gonna get big. I know it is.
Well, Amy, if we even again, Joe, this will be our after dark, but I even told Joe a little bit of the story. If we even live streamed like going to that shop, getting matching whats, James, and we all
actually I needed a new one, James. Mine was almost dead.
What happened? You wore it out already. You didn't chip a tooth, did you?
Huh?
You didn't chip a tooth, did you?
No, but I chipped other things.
Well, we were all introduced to a very heavy set dominatrix named Tanya with a skin condition, and
she tried to touch me with her rash.
Oh, she loved us. Yeah, it was pretty funny. We have some.
But she knew what she was talking about now. Okay.
Well,
she knew.
She knew. She was great.
The girls had never been, or claimed to have never been, to a porn shop before.
Oh, that's not true. I've been a million. No.
Well,
I've never done it.
So
modesty.
Basically, it was a reason for me to buy them vibrators. So like,
we'll have to post our picture with our little matching. It was pink and blue, really beautiful pieces.
The thing the biggest aggravation of the whole thing is, as far as Wendy goes, for someone who supposedly isn't into anal, you should have seen the butt plug that she picked up.
He makes fun of me. Everybody,
the baby's arm.
I want the world to know, and of course, I know we're going there on the show. Everybody, I don't like that. It's not nice.
She's
I don't
lying.
Like it.
She's lying.
Don't like it. Don't like
Wendy.
That. Yeah.
Taint that the truth.
Yeah.
Taint that the truth. Yeah. Exit only. But
I think my bowl was blue, right? It's blue.
Yeah, mine's pink.
And I think now that it's dying, it turned to a different color. I don't know what color it is anymore.
Purple. Yeah, those things. So everybody, maybe one show we'll do a live stream of us going vibrator shopping, and just to get more viewers, Amy, you got to wear a bikini.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jesus, I can get my little Baywatch like Farrah Fawcett.
So, Ken said
he made boobies. I love boobies.
Oh, is that boobies?
Is that boobies or a butt? It's one or the other.
Oh, look at that.
Jeff said I have to tell on Wendy. She once played the poor name game with the executives attending our professional class.
We had so much fun in his class. Now, these are all professional, very wealthy people that run, like construction businesses. Exit only. Thank you. And we did the poor name game, which everybody knows. It's like your first name is like your pet's name, your first pet's name, and your last name is either like the first street you lived on or your grandmother's maiden name. And it always worked out. And we had so much fun in this class doing it. And we kind of went there, and then there was one gal in the class, and I'm not to be a jerk about people being religious. That's not at all. But she's like, y'all need to, come to God. This is not nice. And
y'all need Jesus.
She said that, and she talked to me about it, and I said, well, I said, Jeff, I didn't have the heart to tell her I'm Jewish, but she scolded me a little. It's okay. So besides anal and not doing anal, my thing that I want to talk about, I don't really my voiceover stuff is not very exciting or anything, but
yes, it is.
Oh, it is. It is. Ken says, but with the
But with insertion.
But with oh, that's what that little thing
That's
says. Okay, good.
Well, no. If you look at it, he added something in the middle of that one this time.
Wait, can you put that back up? I want to see.
Yeah, there it is. You see the little circle in there?
Yeah, there you go.
Ken, you left your blinker
Wendy,
on.
just try it. You should try it.
That is the devil's onion ring. I reckon.
Maybe that'll be the
it's about time you let James see your ass.
I'll go in the studio and I'll be narrating as I try anal or just putting something in the butt. I'm sorry, everybody.
Just ask her about the hovering pinky. She'll know what's going on.
I don't like that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next time. I did do, and one of the things that it came out already is I did an erotic novel. I don't usually do audiobooks, but I got a really good rate on it, and it fell into my lap, and I had no idea. It was filthy. It's called Betrayed, and it's a bestseller. And it was like I was getting really into it. But I've done narration for Adam and Eve, and this thing was like, hold my beer. This I mean, I couldn't even, like, my daughter would come by and she's like, were you like moaning in the studio? What were you doing? Because I was like, you got really into the character. So that's out. That's been out. If you want to hear my voice, I'm on a lot of things. If you fly United Airlines, I do the in-flight announcements to all United Airlines. I mean, you hear me all over the place. It's like my daughter said when she was young, she said, it's like you're famous, but nobody knows about it. So, but yes, I have a few little films coming out. I've done some of James's films, and I have a few things, but I'm trying to get a little more, I love doing on camera, and I found that to be really fun. And like I said, us older women, we have a little place there. There's a little
dear Lord.
Yeah. For us older, unattractive girls, we're there.
Oh, stop it.
But everyone, I wanted to just say how much fun that I've had on the show. And Joe, thanks for not, maybe don't have red lights, because I know you're trying not to match them, because I know we've embarrassed you a little bit, but that's our goal. That was our goal.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Buckle up, suck it up, Buttercup. So everybody, I had a great show. Joe, if you want to outro us out, I had a blast.
And now she got a taste of this. Now she's starting to boss me around.
Yeah, you do it. I want you to outro us, because
I changed my light colors.
Oh, I like it. It's very, very, very seductive and very calming.
Well, isn't like the green M&Ms? The green is supposed to be.
That's the horny one. Yeah,
that's the horny one. Speaking of which, one of our guests might be a friend of mine who's a voiceover. His name is Billy West, and he does the voice of the red M&M. Among other things. He might be on one of the shows if anybody's interested. So that's the other thing, is everybody, when you see this show, we'd love to hear what you think. We'd love to hear the kind of people that you'd like to have, what you would like to talk about or have us talk about, or, what you'd like to see on. Because I think it's independent film, but other people, good show. I didn't feel as dirty as I thought I would. Well, we're going to make you feel dirtier next time, Ken.
Yeah.
Next time.
Amy's got you.
I don't know. Maybe we need to have like a special 11 o'clock episodes for those.
Amy, James, let's do it, and let's get Tanya. Tanya needs to be in.
Flaky Tanya, I would love to have Flaky Tanya on.
Flaky dominatrix Tanya.
No, she tried to touch me. No, but she knew what she was talking about. She did.
Here. Oh, James. Hey, James is one of my VO students. I'd love to have Billy West here. I teach everybody another thing. I teach again, self-promotion. I teach VO, but I also, if you're interested, private coach. I'm going to put this out there to anybody that was nice enough to tune in, that would like to, get a 15 minutes of coaching, or I could talk to you about the business. I've been doing this a long time, and I get people started. I will put that out there. Just to say that you saw the show, and I will give you 15 minutes on the house.
That is an amazing opportunity. Thank you. And I may hit you up.
Yeah, Joe. Well, Joe, I'll give you all the time. Give you all the time.
Ken is saying that the sticky microphone reminded me of earlier days with sticky key. Ken.
Oh, why was there a sticky keyboard? That doesn't sound
We
good.
know why. Sticky sock wads. We know.
So I don't have as much stuff loaded as I should, and that's on me, because somebody called me in a panic right before AV check. We're not going to mention any names, Wendy, but so I got a little sidetracked, so I don't have everything loaded that I should. But
oh, there he goes. He's back.
Yeah.
Well, that was a neat trick. What the
There
hell
we
was
go.
that?
He disappeared. But yes, I'm gonna.
He like pulled a genie thing and
Yeah. You matrixed yourself right the hell out of there. What the hell happened?
We missed you. We missed you.
was it something I said?
No, you've got a beautiful voice like a bird, like a beautiful bird. So
Well,
yes, I look forward to our next show. I'm hoping if everybody's able to do this next week. I know we kind of said 2 a week. That's when Tony and
2 a month.
2 a month.
2 a month. I said, not 2
Good
a month.
Lord.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, I was like, so wait.
You're giving me
Lawrence
the
and Tony were
vapors.
able to do the show, and I think they'd be a lot of fun to have. Lawrence, he does have a kind of a cool following because he's just so interesting. I find him fascinating, but just me. So,
ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to the Indie Escape Network on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. What's that funny thing that the kids are doing?
Snapchat, TikTok,
Instagram.
and Instagram. Yes, check us out on there. Like, subscribe. This has been absolutely amazing, guys. I appreciate you guys giving the Indie Escape Network a chance. We really appreciate that. So I'm going to sound like David. With that being said,
yeah, we that's my thing. I do say that a lot.
we're going to say goodnight now. Forward to the next time.
Until the next one, everybody. Why don't we do? You know what? I've got an idea. We'll do like something so we know that we're outro and it could be synchronized. Everybody, we're going to do it's a big Yiddish thing. My Nana did this. Mwah! And that's what you do. And that's how you
Is that what we're all doing?
All right, everybody, on the count of 3.
Maybe just be like,
no, I'm not.
No, you can do. All right, ready? Mwah! Oy vey, that was wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
James, such a participator.
Hey, where's my picture?
Our
Dang it,
outro.
guys.